What's up, guys? Welcome back to LiveLikeLo. Today, I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can create a sacred space in the astral. So what do I mean by sacred space? A sacred space is a place that technically you can put up your astral altars, you can create gateways and portals to do your workings. You're talking to certain spirits and getting certain information from them. So I hope that this is something you're looking forward to, because it's crazy because whenever I talk about this, people think, oh my God, I've never thought about that. And so if this is you and you want to know how to create a sacred space, today I'm going to give you all the tools, all the deeds, all the extras, and I'm going to basically take you step by step through how to do it. And from this point forward, you can learn to create your own natural space, create different portals and doors, and this will be somewhat of a series, and I'll teach you how you can add new things to this basic portal space we're going to learn today. So I want to start off by describing an astral space to you. So I'll give you an example of my astral space. My astral space looks like the Matrix. So when I go into my sacred space, I go to a all white infinite space, white top, white bottom. And then from that space, I decorate and I create portals and I create places for me to then do my work and speak to spirit. I also get to explore my Akashic records, the Divine Library, and other Akashic libraries and sacred libraries as well. Depending on what libraries you find that really connect with you, you can also establish shortcut doors in particular places where you will typically be inside of this realm. And I'm going to take you through a short way how to do this, okay? So I have my notes here because y'all know these things be having hella steps. And I actually learned about this through my spirit team. They woke me up to my sacred space and they started to put things there to let me know, hey, this is a place you can come and work with us. So the first door I ever got in my sacred space was my personal Akashic records door. And so that door walks me straight into my personal Akashic records. I can tap into it. Everybody's Akashic records is going to look a little bit different, okay? So like my Akashic records looks like Egyptian totems, and like the kind of like pillars that kind of hold their temples up is like what mine looks like. And it just grows like layers and layers. And if I touch a pillar, that pillar will take me to a particular lifetime, a particular destination, or something that needs to be healed depending on my intention, right? And so everyone is going to have a different stimulator for their Akashic records. So for example, mine is touching a pillar where you might actually see a butterfly. That butterfly may land on you inside of your sacred space or your Akashic space, and that butterfly may give you a download of the information that you seek. So y'all, it was a bug, okay? So we talked about what is the sacred space. So now I'm going to tell you how. So our first step, hold on y'all. So how are you currently traveling right now? Like, how are you currently traveling in the astral? When you travel in the astral, do you go to outer space? Do you go to specific realms, to specific lands? Are you one of those people who travels any and everywhere in the higher and lower realms, in the outer realms, in the universe, to different star systems, different planets? Do you go to different lifetimes and experience that as well? Do you remember those when you wake up? Do you spend a lot of your time in the dream time, and that dream time allows you to interpret your astral travels when you're sleeping? So these are all questions I would like you to ask yourself. Please get a book or something that you can write down your exercises in for creating this space and exploring this space. Because what this is going to allow you to do is get something solid in your practice that comes directly from you, directly from spirit, directly from source, okay? So I did say those differently, obviously. And so it's you, yourself, your higher self, and your I am presence. Then you have your spirit team. I call those spirit. because they are a collective group that works with you for your lifetime here. And then we have source. So the all that is always is trying to pull you into your most authentic self, to pull you back to who you were before you came into this lifetime, as it fits into your purpose at this time. Sorry guys, I'm seeing like a lot of birds fly over my head right now. So it's like a sign from source for me. I appreciate it, y'all. Okay. So now that you have this kind of idea, now through your travels, what would you like to improve? Something for me that I saw when I first started astral traveling is I would go super far. I would have nowhere safe to take a break because I was super anxious that like I would talk to entity that would want to like hold on to me or take my energy. And these are all like, they can happen, but it's so like unlikely that it would happen. But I was super scared and I wanted to have a place that made me feel safe and comfortable. Okay. Then I like to go to different realms. So I travel through realms. And the only thing that's really annoying about coming from your body, going to the astral and traveling through certain realms is that certain realms you have to walk through to get to the realm that you want to go to. And it takes a long time. In the ideal, like instant imagine whatever, but from going from point A to point B, you have to travel there, okay? And regardless of how quick or blip that is in your imagination, it still takes more time. And so I create doors in my sacred space that take me directly to where I want to go. So currently I have a space to heaven, and I call it heaven, y'all, okay? I have a space to the upstairs to get to source. And so when that door opens, there is a library, I call it the divine library, that I have access to, and I can actually stay on that first level. There's 3 levels of infinite library, which means that library it keeps going. It never stops because it is the complete and collective knowledge of the all that is. So like you can go in and find whatever you want. And so from that place, I can actually take the staircase up to whatever level. I usually skip the traveling, y'all. I do not like traveling, okay? And I get to the front gate. Once I get there, I just like roam around until Yeshua, source. Sometimes I will see like different versions of this place. So if you practice, say for example, Ifa, working with Mami Wata or Yemaya, when I go to the heaven of Ifa, I forget the name that they call it, y'all. I am sorry. But particularly there, I cannot go on my own. My I am presence has to go with me, or I have to be taken by source or by another person in my angelic team, because they will actually hold me or they will put me in their hand, and then I will be able to go to that place, because as a human, you're not allowed to touch anything in that realm. I also have places specifically that I go to talk to my deities, and those doors are great because then I don't have to walk through the higher and lower realms to get to them. Okay, because that traveling can be extraneous. Now, what are the things that you want to improve? What are the things that you want to be able to do, right? Then what you're going to do is make a list. Okay, these are the things that I want inside my sacred space. These are the portals, these are the doors, these are the protections. This is what I want to be able to accomplish here. This is what I want to be able to keep here. And this is what I want to be able to access on a consistent basis. Okay, so now that third step is going to be, you're going to sit in meditation. So you're going to start with 8 breaths in a count of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you hold for 2. And then you're going to exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're going to do that 8 times. What this does is it allows you, 1, to get in a state of abundance. 2, it allows you to completely relax. And this is the number of though. So for me, this is the way that I connect with the infinite knowledge of the all that is and sacred knowledge as well. So this is a great practice, and you can do this to get into any meditation. Then what you're going to do, once your mind clears, there are no kind of like rambunctious thoughts running around. Now you're going to set the intention to your spirit team and ask to be taken to the garden. Everybody's garden can already look different based on your own personality. But the way that I'm going to describe this is going to be a white space on the top, a white space on the bottom, infinite. There is nothing in the distance but white on the top, white on the bottom. The reason why I do this is because it's easier to see white than it is to see in black, in a black colored space, okay? My space used to be black and I couldn't see shit. So now it's white, okay? All right, so now when the garden appears, okay? When the garden appears, it's gonna be like you're walking in just a plain white space. Sorry, y'all, you might hear some chickens or something. My neighbor's got chickens. Now what you wanna do is call forth your team, your spiritual team, your guides, your ancestors, your angels, archangels, ministering angels, your elemental spirits. And then you wanna call in source. If you have that connection with source or any deities that you're currently working with, to then call upon them as well. If you are someone of the more left-hand path and you work with darker spirits, be sure to only invite the spirits that you're currently working with or you are contracted to work with, because they can create some kind of rambunctiousness inside the sacred space. And it's best to keep things in order if it's going to be a sacred space, okay? So now you're going to introduce yourself to each one of these people, okay? So you're going to introduce yourself to all of your guides, all of your angels, all of your archangels, all of whatever comes forward. You can also personally call your body elemental if you're having a lot of health problems. Any elemental spirits that work with you, if you are like in Wicca or some type of very close pagan version of that, and you call on the watchtowers. And you can also call on the guardians of these watchtowers if you would like to speak with them because you work with them often. Any elemental spirits that you're often working with, whoever you want to have access to this space to be able to contact you and speak to you in this space without having special permission, you would call them into this space now. And you will greet them, each one of them, and ask them these questions, okay? So first, you're gonna ask them what their name is, okay? They know your name. They work with you every day. You're getting to know them. It's like when the CEO comes down to certain levels, he doesn't know everybody that works there. She doesn't know everybody that works there. She has to go to certain places and she starts to get familiar with the faces of the people that work for her. And the more that she tours that area on a consistent basis, or him on a consistent basis, you're going to be able to start to recognize the people that work for you. This is the same thing. Today, we're having a complete and involved introduction, okay? Now, the second thing you're going to do is ask, how are they helping you? So the next thing you're going to do, the second thing, is you're going to ask them, how are you working with me and why? So sometimes a spirit, say for example, a guide can come in for a season or for a certain amount of years to come help you with a specific season of your life or a specific era of your life. And then they will leave once you have learned a certain amount of lessons that they are able to help you get through or to help teach you, okay? So you can ask them, what is it that you're helping me with and why are you helping me with this? So the third question is going to be, how long will they be with you? And so this is very important because sometimes when we're doing these exercises, we can meet guides that we are not yet able to perceive. So for example, I have quite a few guides right now who I am unable to perceive until I dive into a certain depth of a door that I have recently opened. So they've been here for about 7 months. I've had 2 new guides come up. I don't know their names and I'm not really able to perceive them or to understand them. In order to really speak to them at all, I have to talk through certain guides I'm already available with and my main guides to get information from them because of that dissonance. But as I accrue knowledge in the areas that they're working with, the more I am able to perceive them and to work with them in that gestation period. So I hope that kind of made sense. So now you're gonna ask, how can you work with them? So the best thing in the world that you can do with any spirit that's in your life that is here to help you is to work in tandem, to work together, to work in alignment, to get to certain goals, certain understandings, certain lessons, to heal certain generational curses. So this is something that you'll be able to do and ask them, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction. Sometimes a guide can refuse to answer this question about how you can work with them because you are not currently ready. Sometimes you are not yet at the door that requires the personal working of this guide, because this guide is still trying to teach you lessons that would qualify you to get the information that comes next. So sometimes the student may ask a question that is several lessons ahead of him. And to answer that question would be to confuse the student, because if you can't quite understand where your point of view is from the point of the future place in which you would be able to use this information, it's completely useless to you. And a lot of the times it can confuse the shit out of you and make you quit because you're like, just fuck it. Fuck it, okay? These are the questions. How can you work together? Now make sure that you have a pen and paper, okay, when doing this exercise, so that you can write all these answers down. Like I said, in creating this sacred space, you want to have a journal, because now as you understand each guide, each ancestor, this can take a while, okay? And you might have to stop and start if you have a large spirit team. But a lot of the times when you're doing this, you may not know your entire spirit team. So you may get the concise version, okay? Like for me, when I first learned about creating my own sacred space in the astral, I had a few people in my spirit team. It was literally 3 people. It was like my guides. I had 2 guides and Thoth, and that was it. I didn't have nobody else. I had nobody else come talk to me for a long time until I really opened those doors, until I learned about the ancestors, until I learned about certain people, until certain people passed away and I was grieving, and then I saw them in the astral. Do you see what I'm saying? So you will collect a bigger and bigger team as you do these workings, because certain spirits need to work with you to help you. Sometimes you don't always need that. Sometimes you have a deity that is willing to walk you through some of these things, like Thoth has done for me, okay? All right, so now that you've asked your questions and everything, we're going to call in our spirit team all together. They're going to circle around you. You're going to be the point of the circle. Now you're going to call in Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is going to come down, and you are going to greet him in the middle of this circle. You can ask him questions if you have any questions for him, any introductions for him, any of that stuff. You can ask him any of these questions that we have previously listed. And then we are going to ask Archangel Michael and his legion of angels to create this place in secrecy and sacredness. And so what that means is that we're going to allow Archangel Michael to create a bubble around this place in space-time that will only allow access by you and your spirit team. You do not want to let anybody into this place, and really push this. Do not let real people travel to your astral space, okay? This is where the most secrecy of secret things are kept, because you cannot write them down, okay? Things that you can barely comprehend, you will have access to this knowledge in this place, and you don't want to let other people be able to have access to what is for you. If you're going to give them access, like this video, you can give it to them in this way. Do never, ever take people to your astral space, okay? Have we done it? All right. Okay, now that we've gotten through this warning, we're going to now set and solidify this orb around us, and we're going to thank Archangel Michael for allowing this orb to stay forever in time, space, and the fullness of the continuum, and so it is by the greater I am, okay? If you need to run that back, just run it back so that you can write that down specifically. In the name of the greater I am, the all that is, the Alpha and Omega, the Agula, the whatever name, okay? I just posted a video on the sacred names of God. You can use the one that works best for you. It does not matter as long as you call on the greater I am to put its protection completely over this space, okay? I hope that this makes sense to y'all, okay? Because I cannot emphasize this enough. Okay, so now your space is created. Okay, your space is created. So what did we do? Just so we could do a quick run through. Okay, the first thing we did was took allotment of what do we usually do in the astral space when we're meditating, when we're astral traveling, when we are in the dream space. Where do we go? What do we do? What do we remember? What type of signs do we get? Who do we talk to? Okay, do we find ourselves going back to the same places over and over again? Okay, so this is like the whoop de whoop. Okay, so then next, what did you do? You made a list of things that were inconvenient as fuck about your astral travel and what you wanted to change. Okay, so now you took that list and you went into meditation. You formulated a space based on that list, and now you're inviting your spirit team into this space. You're now introducing yourself and then blessing the space with these beings and Archangel Michael, fortifying it as a divine sacred space in the name of the greater I am. All right, so now what do you do next? Now I'm going to teach you how to create your number one door that you need to use going forward. It is the door to your Akashic records. This is going to be imagined as a red door. Do not skip on the red. Do not skip on the red, okay? Because red is a very core color. That is a color for our root chakra. And this is our roots, okay? So red door. This way, if you have any other doors in your Akashic records, they will not be red. And this is a way you will always know that this is the Akashic records door, no matter if the door moves. We're at like, what, 25 minutes? I think I'm gonna take this to a part 2 because I want to teach you how to create doors, but I wanna make sure that you guys don't get tired. And right now for me, it's already 25:55. So I'm gonna just go ahead and cut this short. I'm going to see you guys on the next one, okay? So back for part 2. I just want to tell you guys, I'm incredibly grateful for you coming back to see me at LiveLikeLo, where you guys can get some crazy, awesome, esoteric knowledge, occult knowledge, just for the fucking fun of being in practice with the all that is, with the divines, with the spirits, with the angels, and this crazy thing called life, getting in touch with who we truly are at the core of being our awesome, authentic selves, exploring ourselves to the mystic that we are through the greater I am. And so it is. I see you guys thriving. I see you creating your ultimate utopia and future for your life. I see everything going just as you have intended. So please be careful of what you intend. And don't forget to sprinkle some flavor on that motherfucking, you heard me? So I love you so much. I'll see you guys back in part 2, and you have an amazing day, okay? And I send you crazy good energy, healing energy, and I just want to slap y'all with that motherfucking fire, okay? Because today is an amazing day, and you can still create more of it just by the own intention of your mind. I love you.